Hello.
Devin, thanks for locking the door.
You're welcome. Control that 352. Yeah, you can't do that.
Hi, Carrie.
Hello.
Carrie, I don't want to make you the host till I see you.
Oh, I usually
Can you
don't have
hear
my
me
camera
okay?
on. Yeah, can you hear me? Do you have the, oh, um, can you hear me? Boy.
Becky, can you hear me?
I think she has her volume like low.
Okay, I'll text her.
I doing that.
You're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um,
Oh, do you have your volume on now?
It was medium.
Oh,
On. Did I?
can you hear us now though?
Yeah, you
Oh, okay.
couldn't hear me?
No, we could hear you and we were talking back.
Oh,
But you were
you couldn't
answering.
hear us.
I couldn't hear you.
Okay, but we could hear you.
Yeah, your volume, like your speaker volume might have been like really low or like muted. Like if you turn the sound off on your laptop.
Yeah, which I did at the last meeting, so that makes
Um,
sense. I probably did that. Okay, that explains it. All right, now I'm gonna hand it off to you, Carrie.
okie dokie.
And make you the host. And you can make somebody the co-host just to protect from it conking out, huh?
Yeah, I think I have to make I'm assuming Beth's gonna be the one sharing the document for them to go over, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be good. Well, I think I'm gonna listen for a little bit, see how it goes.
Okay. Um, hello. Um, what was I gonna say? Is there a waiting room? Because I don't think
I turned it off.
Oh, okay.
Oops, I just reclaimed the host by checking that.
It's okay. If you want to put the waiting room back on.
Okay, let me put the waiting room back on and then okay, it's back on. And now I'll make you, oh, and now Beth is trying to get in. I just
Would
let,
are you having a meeting? Would you rather me be in the waiting room?
Oh, no, no, I know
oh,
usually
we're
we have
just,
that on.
I'm handing off the hosting to
Oh,
Carrie.
okay.
That's all we're doing. Oh, so now you have to make Beth the co-host.
Okay. That's
Okay,
all.
thanks. Hi, Beth.
Oh, hello.
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 How's everybody?
Pretty good.
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there. How are things going, Carrie? You having any issues, questions?
No, I'm doing pretty good.
Everything's good?
Yeah.
Awesome. You're so helpful. So
Oh,
super
thank
helpful.
you. I try to be. My only question is, so for like the folders we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
on emails, usually like I can't preload like documents in there. So like when I sent you that link to the thing, I just put that email in the folder. So that way you can go through the folder through the emails and then and the emails are the documents, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's, I guess I guess that's how we do it. Like if I get a email that has an NOI electronically attached to it, we just put that whole email in the
Yeah,
folder
because you
for that
can't,
address.
from what I know, I can't put just like a whole document in there. That'd be very helpful. But one of the things I also want to do is like, well, I mean, to be a lot of backlogging. I might go newer to older, is start downloading all the files that I have on the computer and start organizing them on the computer and not just having them all on email.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
That would take
I-
that would take a while, but maybe if I get bored one night, maybe I'll start backlogging.
Yeah, so what do other committees do with their documents? Do they store them in
I
email or do they have a drive?
so usually like if I receive a special permit from like planning board, I usually similarly I get an electronic copy and a hard copy. The electronic copy I share with the planning board or zoning board, and then I have a file copy.
A hard copy, but it never gets like scanned and electronically stored
No,
anywhere, really.
that's something that we unfortunately don't have in town hall. That's something that
Right,
me and Grace dream about, is having an electronic copy of everything imaginable, but it
yeah.
would take a long time.
Yeah, but so I mean, right now, the best to do, I guess, then is to try to store the electronic ones in the Gmail like we're doing.
Yeah.
So, okay. I have to go let my dog in.
Okay. Oh, another question I had, I mean more of like a follow-up. How are the forwarded emails looking?
So I was able to confirm
Yeah.
with, but I don't know if I'm actually getting them. The only emails I get are ones that you've forwarded. So like
Hmm.
I don't think I'm automatically getting them.
I'll have to look because I did the last step, but maybe I didn't complete it correctly. So I'll have to look through that again.
Hey, Robin, are you getting the Concom emails forwarded to you?
Oh, she's muted.
You're muted.
Sorry. I'm getting emails, so I'm assuming that they're being forwarded.
Are they ones that are coming from Carrie or are they just coming directly to you? Did-
I've been getting some from Carrie.
Okay. Yeah,
You
because
want me to
I don't
go
know
to-
what it looks like or what it's supposed to look like on the other end.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting the ones that you're sending because it says because it has a little, message usually from you, like,
Hmm.
here's a blah, 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 like, here's those letters from DCR.
Oh, well,
Um,
those are mostly like I sent those because I had to scan those and send those. Those weren't just like
okay.
sent to Concom.
Oh, yeah, because I get those too, so.
I'll keep watching and see.
Okay.
We
This
haven't
is my
been,
first time setting it up, so troubleshooting as I go.
yeah, I'll pay more attention to whether or not it looks like it came from you or just directly.
Okay.
So I guess we're still waiting for Scott and Mary. There's Mary. Hi, Mary. Well, there's three of us here, so I'm sure Scott's coming, but so I'm calling this meeting of the Shutesbury Conservation Commission to order. It's February 15th. And this meeting is being recorded. Congratulations on your baby, Mary. Your granddaughter is a granddaughter.
Thank you. It's like, okay. Trying to fix my voice here.
So we would wait for Scott. Not sure where he is. Oh, maybe we won't wait for Scott. This meeting, there's just one item on the agenda. It's to go over the special conditions for the library project. I thought I'm gonna share my screen and we can go through the draft special conditions. We've gotten a few comments, just from conservation commissioners that we can look at that, and then we'll take any more changes that commissioners feel are needed, and the applicant can chime in too if they see things that they really are concerned about. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So we closed the public hearing last Thursday. And these are the draft special conditions for the permit. I'll just, go through it once and then we can go back and talk about anything that's questionable. The beginning is a finding of facts, talking about what the project consists of, which resource areas are on the parcel, and then here's just a summary of square footage of the aura that's impacted within the first 25 feet, within the first 50 feet, and then a description of mitigation that's been proposed and that we discussed last week. So that's the finding of facts, refers to the set of plans. Yeah, and then this is just sort of the boilerplate that they've rebutted the issue enough, and as long as they abide by the conditions presented here and the general conditions in the state permit, then they are allowed to move forward. So here's the beginning of the special conditions. Now, most of this is just our boilerplate conditions that everybody has seen. Get down to the bold ones are ones that we're trying to call out to the applicant. This one's calling out that within 30 days from issuance of the order, we'd like a letter with the original signature saying that the applicant has read the order conditions. The next one is saying that within 30 days of the issue of the order, it needs to be recorded at the proof of recorded orders and conditions with the.
I
Oh,
think it got skipped
yeah.
down to 11, yeah.
just got. With the Franklin County Registry of Deeds. Okay. All right. Oopsie, sorry. So number 11, prior to the start of work, except for drilling of the drinking water well, because that is going to happen very soon, basically faster than the applicant feels they can get some of these plans, invasive plan and and landscape management plan together. So we've got prior to the start of work, except for drilling of the drinking water well, the applicant must submit an invasive species management plan for the site for Conservation Commission approval. The management plan must include a map of the area to be managed, a list of species found within the mapped area, a description of the invasive species removal methods to be used and who will be implementing them, and a schedule of treatment frequency. And then to sort of follow up on that, number 12, invasive species management under an approved invasive species management plan shall continue throughout the expiration of this order and shall be included as a continuing condition in perpetuity on the certificate of compliance. So those two are basically saying they need to submit a plan for our approval and that invasive species management will continue on the parcel in perpetuity. This is just a little edit that Scott had noted. He changed the word survive to continue throughout. All right, number 13, prior to the start of work, except for drilling of the drinking water well, the applicant must submit a landscaping long-term maintenance plan for Conservation Commission approval. The maintenance plan shall be for areas within wetlands and the aura and include maintenance methods, replacement of dead unsuccessful plantings, who will do the maintenance work, and frequency. And number 14, prior to the start of work, except for drilling the drinking water well, the applicant must submit a plan for trash and debris removal for approval by the Conservation Commission. The plan must include a map of the trash impacted areas, a description of the trash removal methods, a list of who will be removing the trash debris, and a schedule. 15, site planning of trees and shrubs may be done throughout the 3-year permit period and be based on the best planting season for each species. The commission reserves the right to require replanting of trees or shrubs to not remain viable for 2 full growing seasons. So those are the special conditions that are specific for this project that aren't really coming from our general conditions that we do for all projects. Then the next group is pre-construction phase. And again, these are ones that are typical for most applications. If that's the right number. Let's see. Erosion control. Erosion control installed 48 hours before the commencement of work. Yep. Yeah, so those are standard. And the other one that had questions was Scott looked at this one and thought he wanted to change it a little bit. So I think this number 40 is one that we need to talk about a little bit. It's about the use of pesticides and herbicides and fungicides. So the original is in the black and his proposed change is green. So his change is reading pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides shall be minimized within 100 feet of the wetlands. Pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides may be used subject to review and approval of the Conservation Commission and in accordance with the invasive species plan and label instructions. Is Scott at the meeting now?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late.
Oh, that's okay. So my concern about these changes, is that this is describing, the use of pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides, for any vegetation, not just invasive species. That's one thing. Second, this condition as written in black has been used in other orders of conditions. It's kind of like one of our standards. And I guess I'm leaning towards that. I just don't feel like people necessarily need to be using those chemicals within 100 feet of the wetlands. You know, I've seen this same condition in other towns, standard conditions. But I mean, it is something that we can definitely talk about.
Yeah. Do you want me to respond or
What-
talk about that now, or do you want to
Yeah,
defer
yeah,
to-
no, how do you feel about it? Yeah, no, I think we've been through the major conditions that are in here. We can certainly go through any of them. Any commissioners that have questions on any of them, we can talk about, but we can start with this one because you have questions on this one.
Sure. Well, real quickly, I agree with you, Beth, in terms of for general vegetation management and as a standard condition, it made sense to me the way that it was worded. My suggested changes, though, were in recognition of the fact that here, I believe, as mitigation for impacts in the aura, the applicant was actually looking to control invasives in and around and within 100 feet of the wetland. We don't have an invasive species plan yet for what they were planning to do. It is pretty common, for many of those species that they may have to use a herbicide to achieve the goals that they're setting out. And I just didn't want to preclude their ability to include that in an invasive species plan for us to review and approve later from one of these conditions. And so that was why I suggested making the change. It could be incorporated elsewhere, but then I could see how the two conditions could be conflicting with one another. So that was my thinking behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think, I mean, I like it the way we had it in there. I think, allowing people, putting in here that you allow people to do that. And it's gonna put us more into policing. What did they use and when did they use it and how did they use it? I think it's pretty standard to not be used within 100 feet of the wetlands.
yeah, I guess we could add, we can leave the original text, but at the end of it, or in somewhere in there, say, unless approved by the Conservation Commission in an invasive species management plan. That way it limits them to only using it when it's treating invasive species, not just lawn maintenance or, for other, not particularly this project, but other projects, we can continue to use that condition because it would be more directed just towards the treatment of invasives.
That gets at the intent
Yeah, I could
of
go with
what I
that.
had.
Okay, because so let's see. Oh, yeah, this condition can survive. So right here, we could say. How's that?
That looks good to me. I think, and again, it doesn't necessitate or require the use of that. I mean, I think any standard IPM plan would try to avoid using those unless it just wasn't possible, but since we haven't seen the plan, I think this gives them, the applicant, room to include that if they find it necessary, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, no, I like putting this in here because the invasive treatment that I've seen over time has almost always in the end had required the use of some kind of chemicals. But I think it's good to just limit their use within the aura and obviously within the wetlands themselves to just the treatment of invasive species.
Yeah, the only other, I don't know what you think about, I mean, they would have to do this anyways, but the label instructions, I mean, it has to be. I can't, we wouldn't be approving it if it weren't anyways, but
Yeah, I feel like that's something that they would put into their invasive species management plan, or we could ask for it in their plan.
okay, thank you.
Cool. All right, does anyone have questions? I'm gonna just go back up to the top. Actually, let's go to this part. All right, so, okay. Brad, you have your hand up?
This was two really tiny edits with what you just did, the part Scott was on, if you could go back there.
Are we
It-
taking comments on this from people?
This is not so much a comment, but an editorial. You have commission period unless you might want to say comma. And then below that, species management plant, you might want to take the T out.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, no, I think right now we're taking any changes that either commission members or basically the applicant, not necessarily the public in general, but if the applicant really sees some strong issues with these special conditions, then we're looking for those comments right now too. And I can't necessarily see who's raising their hands because I have my screen. Anybody have your hand up?
I don't see any hands up.
I
Great.
don't see any.
Okay. Commission members, are you happy with these special conditions?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
they're great.
They're great. Okay. Well, if I don't see any hands up from the applicant at this time, then I think we're gonna call them good, and we need a motion to issue the order. Oh, Penny raised her hand. Penny?
I have one minor edit. If you go back to the, oh, I'm not sure where it is. It was something that Scott had asked to change that didn't have to do with invasive species. About the orders continuing beyond.
Right here, continuing throughout instead of survive.
I might think you might want to say beyond instead of throughout, because your intent, isn't your intent for it to continue after the order ends? Not just the duration of the order? That was it. Very simple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Lou?
Hi, yes, Mary Lou Conca. I just have a general question, and it may be for the planning board perhaps, and not the Conservation Commission. But I'm curious if any tribes have been consulted before you give permission to build on land.
Yeah, that's just not a conservation commission question, I guess.
Yeah. So are you giving them a permit, or you're just saying you've passed our, restrictions and yay, okay? Or are you giving them a permit?
Yeah, we'll be giving them a permit. These are the conditions that go with the permit. So
Okay.
we're going through these right now. when we're happy with them, the commission says they're issuing the permit, the order of conditions,
Right.
along with these conditions as a form, but we don't need to show
Mm.
that tonight.
Okay, and there's nothing in that that says you have to consult with tribes to make sure that the land is A-okay?
No, not with the wetlands. So this is a wetland permit.
I see. Thank you. Thank you, Beth.
Sure. All right, so we need a motion to issue the order of conditions.
I'll make a motion to issue the order of conditions
Second,
to 166 Leverett Road.
I second.
all right, David,
Aye.
Harrington,
I.
Khan,
Aye.
Wilson, aye. All right. So, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. There we go. All right, so just so the applicant knows, I'll now put the permit together. We have 3 weeks from when the public hearing closed, which was last Thursday. So really we have until I think it's the 29th of February to hand deliver the full permit to you. And I'm on vacation next week. So I think it'll be probably that Monday, the 26th, the beginning of that week that I'll, sign. And actually, commissioners, do I have your permission to electronically sign the permit?
Yes.
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 Okay. So we'll get all that together and I will probably hand deliver it to Mary Ann that week. So, Mary Ann has a question. Yes?
Is there an appeal period and when does that start?
There's a 10-day appeal period from the issue date. So I'm going to issue it on the 26th, most likely, because that's the day that the day that you actually mail it out or deliver it is the official issuance date. And that's the date that you put on the permit itself. And that's the date that it gets either put in the mail or handed to someone. And then it's 10 days from that period that is the appeal period. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
It does.
Okay. Carrie, you have your hand up.
So I'll be in the office on Tuesday. I could also deliver it if you're doing electronic signatures, because you don't need to sign it,
Okay.
if it helps.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. Great. Thank you. Thank you, library people. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a
Thank
great
you,
project.
Conservation Commissioners. Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Carrie.
Sorry, one more question. At the last meeting, when we were talking about interested residents joining Conservation Commission, I know that there was a questionnaire brought up. Someone had asked about it. I've never seen the questionnaire before, so I didn't know if that was something I need to look for, if you have.
We're going to talk a little bit about it right now. It's kind of in draft form
Oh, okay.
at this point. Yeah. Mary, thank you for putting that draft of that together.
Yeah, sorry it took me so long.
Oh, that's okay. I think right now we're still kind of reviewing it ourselves and we'll be sending comments to you. And then I think commissioners, I don't know how you feel about it, but just discussing it with the select board, having them maybe take a look at the questionnaire too, and make sure we're all on the same page. And then we will mail it out to people who are interested to be on the commission. That was what I was thinking we would do. Anybody have any thoughts?
No, I thought it was a good initial draft and I like those next steps of sharing it with the select board and then we can have more of a conversation around it.
Yeah, I agree with Scott.
Yep. And then we'll mail it out and then we'll just, discuss the responses. There's really not a huge rush, to, we want to pick the right person. So yeah, so that we wanted to talk about that tonight, and I think we're done with that. The only other things that we got some mail from DCR. One of the letters just said that the phase 1 inspection had been received by DCR, so the town did that. And I did see that the consultant gave the Lake Wyola Dam a fair grade, which is always good. And then there were some other DCR letters that were interesting. They were just some safety precautions and things. What else did we want to talk about tonight? Is there anything else?
I did forward that to the LWAC too, just so they could see them.
Sure.
They have a meeting on Saturday. I'm sure they might look at them.
I think that's about it. Scott, did you want to share anything about your site inspection that you did?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I took a hike out to take a look at the planned bridge replacement that DCR was working on the Camelback Brook there, and all the erosion controls were in place and overlapped and staked, throughout the extent of the project. I took pictures and sent them here to you, Beth, and I don't know if you've had time to share them with everyone else. I think maybe you had, but it all looked really good to me.
Great. Yeah, and I think that's just for the tree removal. And I think when I let them know that we were all right with the erosion control, and I said, let us know when the rest of the project starts up. And he thought that would be into the summer months, like June-ish, that real construction would start. All right, well, I don't have anything else to discuss tonight. Our next meeting is March 14th. I know Carrie, we did receive a notice of intent that's going to go on that agenda. It's down by the lake, but we can talk more about that sooner. We'll have to do a site visit. I like doing site visits the week of the meeting. I think that's
So we
a
don't
good
have,
time.
that, never mind. So no meeting next week?
Nope. So starting in March, we start meeting twice a month again.
Okay.
So our meetings will be on the 14th and the 28th in March. Yeah.
What time, Beth? Are we going for 7 or a different time?
What do you guys want to do? So with that notice of intent that came in, I told the applicant 7:15 on the agenda, thinking we could start the meeting at 7 and have a little time to talk about other things, approve minutes and whatnot. But I don't know, do you guys like starting at 6:30?
I like starting at 6:30 and being done a little sooner, but I don't have work constraints, so.
I can make 6:30 or 7 work, either one.
Yeah, same for me, either one.
Okay. Well, how about for March 14th, we do 7, just because I don't know of too much more that's going to be on the agenda, and we'll have that notice of intent public hearing at 7:15. But then for the next meeting on the 28th, we can start, telling applicants and whatnot to be there a little bit earlier. And we could do a 6:30. Carrie?
So there was one thing that came in the email, and I think this is showing me that maybe not everything is being forwarded. There was an email from Mark Whiteman who received who did an ANRAD and received a ORAD. I think he said back in 2020. And he was formally asking for an extension. I didn't forward that one because I was hoping that my forwardings that I set up worked, but I definitely think I gotta double check it now. But I will forward that after this meeting, so that way everyone can read it.
Okay, great. So that was a good test.
Yeah.
So did any of you guys get that email?
No.
No. So
I'll have to
yeah,
reread the directions and try again.
keep trying, Carrie. Keep trying.
I'll get it.
If you need Fred's help, I can have him call you or,
Okay,
when,
yeah.
when you're in the office.
Okay. Yeah, I might take you up on that if I still be running into trouble.
Okay, cool. So we might have something else on the agenda for the 14th, but, yeah, that's it. If nobody has anything else, somebody can, make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second,
David,
Aye.
Harrington,
I.
Khan,
Aye.
Wilson, aye. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good weekend.
Night.
Bye.
You too.
Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night, Gary.